What's up everybody, hope you're all happy well. I'm Jay and welcome to my channel. And welcome to my football experiments. I've had these thoughts in my head and I'm kind of intrigued just to see what would happen in FM23 or 24. What would actually happen if the top 5 best teams in the world, and I'm talking about Argentina who won the World Cup last time, I'm talking about Spain, France, England and Brazil. This is going by the FIFA's website of the top teams in the world. So I've taken these 5 teams and I'm going to put them in the Premier League and I want to see how they get on. It is actually the whole Argentinian team that I do actually have. So there you go. Every Argentinian player, and the team that I have chosen to use is Nottingham Forest. So I've removed all the Forest players and I've done it for every other team. So I've done it for England, I've done it for Brazil, I've just cleared the whole team and replaced them with the world-class teams. Now I'm intrigued to see if they can win the league, if they can dominate the league, and how long they can continue it for. This is what I'm interested in. Then we can compare how well each team have done. Starting off with Argentina. So there you go. Sitting 19th, we have Argentina United. That's what I've changed the name at, just so it makes it a little bit easier to keep my eye on them instead of going, oh, who did I choose? So Argentina United, you have Brazil United, you have France United, and you have England United and Spain United. I did try and start this off over in Argentina. Unfortunately, a lot of the France players, even the Brazilian players, they were classed as foreigners. So they would not be able to play their full team. So I kind of scrapped those 2 countries. I checked out Spain, obviously I've done England and I've done France, and so far we're okay. Every team can play every player apart from Argentina and Brazil. I think Italy's another one where they're classed as foreigners. Germany I don't know. So we're just going to stick with the 3 leagues: La Liga, the English Premier League and the French League. I'd like to have done the other 2, but like I say, circumstances, we can't do it about it. So let's see how Argentina get on. Even though they've got a -4, I've just realised that they've got a -4 because obviously Nottingham Forest and Everton had a little bit of an issue, didn't they? Right, let's do it. Let's see how they go. So with the first season over, let's find out how Argentina did in the Premier League. So Argentina, the actual Argentinian national team, they came 4th. Man City, Liverpool and Arsenal still kind of up there in the Premier League, and Argentina United just couldn't do it. Is the Premier League the hardest to win then? Let's see if they've still got all their players. Last season, I literally put all these players into the team and they seem to have got rid of a few, which actually has quite surprised me. So obviously Real Madrid's had one of the players, Juventus has taken 2. Chippingham? What? These ain't Argentinian players, are they? No, they're not. So obviously these are young lads that are coming through that they've got rid of. So they've still got the remainder of the team and they've kind of got rid of 2 more. Hold on a minute, Pizzella? Right, okay, so that's part of that deal. So they had a loan for him and then they decided to buy him. So they've not brought any players in, and yet we've still got the full Argentinian team who don't seem to be able to win the Premier League. All right, their reputation a little bit low, because normally I played these sort of things and I boosted the reputation. That reputation does make a big difference. If you boost that right up, your team will do really well. I don't know why or how it happens, but it does. Because if you go to Man City, you will see that their reputation is high. Everything is high. So is the players enough? That's the thing. Are the players enough? Do you need all this to be 5-star? Because I've turned Nottingham Forest into Argentina United. They've not got all this. Does that make a difference? They've come 4th. They lost 9. They lost to Fulham. They lost to Man United. Lost to Everton, Chelsea, Man City, Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Everton and Liverpool. So they actually got beat by Everton twice. They drew. So the top 6, I don't think they really... It was the top 6 that they did struggle against. See, Arsenal drew, Liverpool, Man United they drew against, Tottenham, and they lost to Man City. So they must have actually beaten Man City away. But Man City beat them 4-1. I have actually even given the two managers, so the assistant manager and the actual manager, these two guys who are actually in charge. Now, it might have all changed now because this is, like I say, 2023, 2024. And these are actually in charge of Argentina. There you go, you see. So I've given them. So this is how they played. They played a 4-3-3 with Di Mario and Messi in attack, with Martinez, McAllister and Fernandez obviously in the middle, and yet they didn't do very well. Would you class fourth as being good? Is that good? Should we move on another season, see how they get on, see if they buy any players or see if they, leave any more players? Because this is actually the end of the season. I think this is the turnover, so when they can start buying players and stuff like that. Might be earlier, I don't know, but we'll give it another season, see how they get on. But look at that. This is Argentina. This is the first team that we've done so far. And we've still got to do France, Spain, Brazil and England. So this is they've kind of, it's, can they do any better than that or can they do any worse than that? That's the thing that I'm interested in seeing. So for the second year, how well did Argentina do? Well, obviously they didn't do too bad because they're still in the league. But let's find out. What did they do last time? They come fourth. And last year they came 11th. That's not good, is it? They came 11th. Man City, again, still winning. Liverpool, Chelsea. That's pretty much 11th. This is the Argentinian team. Alvarez and Messi still, look. We've still pretty much got the same team. Have they brought any new players? They got rid of all these players. I think a lot of these are actually the young ones because obviously they're paying. What's their finances like? Finance is not very good. So I'm guessing that's why they're trying to get rid of a few players, but it's only loans and I don't think they're actually Argentine. No, they're English. They're the English young lads. So yeah, so they've got a few. So they brought in a young English lad who's wanted. Quite a few of them are wanted by players. Julian Alvarez is wanted by Chelsea. Di Mario and Lionel Messi. And they can only manage 11th. Really? Why 11th? That's quite shocking, that is. What is it we're missing then? Are we missing money? Are we missing reputation? Training facilities? Is that what we're missing? Right, let me try one more year and I'm going to boost all these up. See what actually happens. See if this makes a big difference because I think it will. So we'll do that. And I think we'll probably give them some money just to see if it makes a difference. So what I've done is given the team £500 million. It's not actually shown on there yet until you move it on. And everything up to level 5. Let's see if it makes a difference. Because if it does, that's pretty bad, isn't it? Because you think that Argentinian, being world champions, would be able to do well in the Premier League. Let's do it. One more season onwards. Right. And we are back for the third season. So all those changes that I made to Argentina, would it make a difference? No. Well, it has kind of. They've gone from 11th back up to 5th. Still, man, how the fucking hell are they? But I think this game's, I think it's got programmed so Man City will just win everything, I think. Because that's now 3 years in a row that Man City won. No one's beaten them. That's ridiculous. Right, anyway. So Argentina have come 5th. That's a little drop from the first season, where they were 4th, and then they went down to 11th, and then they went back up to 5th. Right, that's all I'm going. Let's just see what they did with the players first before I move on. So they must have spent some money because, or unless it's on wages, because I gave them 500 million. They're now on 247 million. They got a new manager, Paulo Fonseca from Portugal, and new assistant manager as well. So obviously those two went. They were either sacked or they went. Don't know if it'll actually tell me what happened to him. Right, their transfer history. So they, wow, they actually spent 212 million and it's still not good enough. So they actually did try to improve the team and they didn't really get rid of any big, well, I suppose, yeah. Fernandez went for 77 million, but a lot of them kind of went on loan. So who do we actually still have in the team? Okay, they built the team up quite a bit. Still full of Argentinian players. Say McAllister's still in there. Messi's still there. Messi's 39 now, look. Di Mario, he's 38. So there you go. Martinez, what's this? Tired from travelling. Okay, so there you go. That was Argentina in the Premier League. Not very successful, if you don't mind me saying so myself, considering that they are the World Cup winners. We shall move on to Brazil to see how well they get on. And here we are with Brazil United this time. And again, they did have -4 Argentinian, didn't they? And obviously Brazil are actually getting the same as well. So we'll see how Brazil United get on. As you can see, I have brought all Brazilian players. So they've actually taken a couple from Man City, Real Madrid, Arsenal, obviously Alisson from Liverpool. We brought back Philippe Coutinho who was actually playing for a bit at Aston Villa. Neymar was brought in as well. And we'll see how these guys get on. Now, as you can see, the reputation, trainer faculties and youth faculties are all the same. Probably by after the second season, we might boost that up to see if it makes a difference. It didn't really, well, it made a little difference with Argentina because they had a bit of money to spend. Because if we go finances, we've only got 2 million to spend. And I'm guessing that wages, there's going to be a lot of money. Currently spending 4 million. Yeah. Okay, so, right, that might make a difference. But we'll see actually how well the Brazilian team get on. Staff-wise, we have the manager that was at Brazil. So as you can see, he was the manager of Brazil until we brought him to Brazil United. Assistant manager, again, Brazil to Brazil United. So they've got the manager, they've got their assistant manager, and they've got all their players. Should we see how they get on? So the first season of Brazil United being in the Premier League. Let's see how they got on. They came fourth. The world-class team of Brazil United came fourth in the Premier League. They didn't do too bad with losses, only 5. They lost against, 4 of the big 6. Goals scored, they scored 67 and they conceded 41 goals. Wow. So they actually let 5 in from Bournemouth. Bournemouth's down there, and yet they allowed 5 goals in from Bournemouth. Who did they score against? Luton, Brentford and West Ham and Crystal Palace. They managed to get 5 in the 2 games that they played. Man United they got 4 against, and they got 4 against Everton and Newcastle. Bournemouth? Okay. And Man United got more past them as well. So that must have been some good games. There must have been quite a lot of goals in that. So we still have our manager and our assistant manager, and we actually have Brian Kidd. I don't know if he were there before, but now Brian Kidd's in charge. I'm going to try and pronounce his name. Dorival Jr. Is that right? Dorival Jr. And then Lucas Silvestre. I hope I've got them names right. To apologise if I haven't. In our overview, Casemiro, they've given the captain to. Vice captain is Edar Militio. I might have got that wrong. Again, I do apologise. I know Victor's Jr. I know that name quite well. Finances, not doing very good for finances. Transfer history, we have got rid of now. That's not a Brazilian player. No, it's not. It's an American. Is that? Okay, that's a Swiss guy. Okay. So, right, I'm a bit confused now because this whole squad should be full of Brazilians. It is, but we have a Swedish gentleman, an American guy, and that's who we sold. We sold Pedro, Thiago Silva, Danilo, Douglas Luiz, Matthias Cunha, and Alisson. So Weaverton actually went back over to Brazil. He did. How much did they buy? Not much. Right, okay, so these guys we still have. Not really brought anyone in. Well, this is no transfer here, obviously, because it's got no money. We shall see how they got on in the cup. So the FA Cup, we know they didn't win it because it was Chelsea. So the final was between Man City and Chelsea. Semi-final, Everton, Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea. Our Brazilian team ain't in here. What about the quarterfinals? There they are. They got knocked out by Chelsea. This is strange. I don't know, you know. Listen, maybe in real life they might be able to dominate the league because again this is another world-class country that's won lots of cups, and yet I don't know if it's this team or they just I don't know. I'd have thought Brazil would have done better than 4th myself, and I thought they'd have probably done better in the FA Cup. All right, 4th. This ain't too bad, is it? Quarterfinals ain't too bad, but that team is not better than Man City or Liverpool or Chelsea or Everton in this game. So we'll move on one more season and see how they do, because Argentina went down to 11th. Let's see how these did, because actually at the moment they're matching Argentina. So in the second season, did Brazil United do better than Argentina United? They did. They actually come 6th this time, which was a big improvement of what Argentina did, who came 11th. That's good. So how well did we do? We lost 12 games. That's not good. They didn't lose against Liverpool or Arsenal, but they lost both games against Man City and they lost against Man United. They drew against Liverpool, drew against Arsenal and drew against Man United. Obviously they beat Liverpool, beat Chelsea, and I'm guessing they probably beat Arsenal because they didn't get beaten by Arsenal and they only drew once against Arsenal. So that's not too bad. Did they do anything in the transfer market? Apart from getting rid of a few more players and bringing in freebies. Right, okay, and they're actually bringing in freebies from lower teams. So we've managed to get rid of one player to Real Madrid for 43 million, and we got rid of another player for 11 million. Right, okay, let's boost these up. Actually, wait. Before we actually boost these up, let's just see how well they did in the cup. So again, it was Chelsea that won the FA Cup, beating Newcastle. So in the semi-final, they got knocked out by Newcastle. They actually did a little bit better this time, so they're not done too bad. So what we're going to do is we're going to boost this team up filling in these. Give them a bit of money. See how they get on. Not 2 out of 2 teams have not won the Premier League yet. Right, so we give them a big boost. It's not going to show. Oh, yeah, it is actually showing. We give them a 500 million. So this has been their lineup. Bradshaw, 18-year-old. So they're actually playing a youth. So they're not actually playing. They've got Rodrigo playing one side. They've got Fabinho. They've got Bruno in midfield as well. Gabriel Barbosa is up front. And Victor's Jr. So they could have done better, really, couldn't they? Especially that chap there, who's not really a proven world-class player. They've got Edison in goal. Okay, let's see how they get on now. They've got all this and they've got a bit of money. So we shall actually, we'll just have a quick look. If we can, we'll just have a quick look if we can to see how many goals have been scored. Oh, so, right, okay, so this guy has actually replaced Neymar. Where's Neymar gone then? No, Neymar's still in there. Why? So what's Neymar done? He's played 30, he scored 15 goals and then it dropped. Again, everything dropped. Did he not? He obviously played 36 games and he played 37 there. And Gabriel Barbosa. So he actually went off on loan to West Ham and then they brought him back in. He's not a very good striker. 20 goals. That's terrible. That is a terrible record there. That's not good at all. I'm sorry to say, mate, but that's not. 32 games and only scoring 3 goals when you're actually up front. Unfortunately, that's not good. Oh, I can't do it, but yeah. What about Victor's Jr.? So now this is where the goals, I'm guessing, are coming from Victor's Jr. 38 games, 14 goals, 3 assists and 7 player of the match. Pretty much equally, almost, the season before. And Rodrigo? Yeah, so I'm guessing the goals came from the wings. That's where they came from. Right, okay, we'll move it on one more season. See how they get on. Right, and the 3rd and final season for Brazil United, and they did, okay, so they come 6th, so that actually was a little bit of a drop, because I think, if I remember, Argentina came 5th, I think they did, so they actually dropped down 1 position. They've dropped down 2. No, still not been able to do it, is it? So Argentina and Brazil have both failed to try and win the Premier League. Finances are actually better, so they must have not bought many players. Personnel? So we do actually have, they've actually added an extra, Paul Nevin is an extra assistant manager, but both our assistant manager and our other manager are still there, and we still have the majority of the squad, but they've brought in a lot of youth players as well. So these guys are, Alisson, I thought they got rid of Alisson. I thought Alisson went. Let's have a look, see of their transfers. Yeah. Oh, he just went out on loan. Okay, that's fair enough. So a lot of these went out on loan, and then they made 60 million from these guys. The biggest one coming from Real Madrid, who brought this guy here. I can't pronounce that name. Marquinhos? I do apologise for getting names wrong. I should know these really, shouldn't I? Because I do keep my eye on football quite a bit. 43 million for that. Whereas these guys brought in for nothing. So they're all free. And the last year they brought in Tom Bischoff. And they actually got rid of the guys, I think, that they got last season. Paul White? No, did they? Is that our youth players? It is youth players. And Victor's Jr. has gone to PSG for 101 million. Okay, so that's where they made a lot of money on that then. So one of their best players have actually got rid of. That's not good. Now, Philippe Coutinho is retiring. He's going to retire at this on the 20th. So another 20 days, this guy's going to retire. I wonder if I can actually make him a manager, because I've been doing other little projects just as kind of playing around and seeing how things go. And I've noticed that when I move certain players around, I get the opportunity to offer them as a manager. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to try and send him somewhere, see if it gives me the offer of a manager, considering that he's retiring, because these players that I'm kind of used to and been watching, I don't want to just see them disappear. I'd like to see him actually continue in the game. So if we send him, how about we send him over to Enfield Town? We'll send him to Enfield Town and we'll see if he can become a manager. So yes, we can give him the manager's job. That's good. So we can actually keep these players in. So if you're interested, you probably already know this by now, but I never knew it. So now I do. So now if you're interested in keeping these players in the game, send them over to another team before they retire, because then you can actually choose what you want them to be. So I'm going to give this guy, Philippe Coutinho, I'm going to give him the manager's job, and that will sack the guy there. Fair enough. So now Philippe Coutinho is now the manager of Enfield Town. So I've kept him in. And I think if we go, I know this is changing a little bit in what I was actually doing, but this is just something that I found out. So I think it was pretty cool. So if we go to Man City, and I do believe that I can't find him anywhere. I might be too late. Am I too late? So Kevin De Bruyne is moved, but I do know that he's coming close to his retirement. So I am actually going to move him to Enfield Town. No, he's going to go back as a player. That's doing that. So I think another year and I think he'll be ready to move on. Okay, so we're going to have a look at Mohamed Salah, who is now 34. Is he ready to actually move? So if we move him to Enfield as well. No, so he's still willing to play. But yeah, keep your eye on players like that. Any player that you want to try and keep in, try and move them before they actually retire, because if they retire you just lose them and it just gives you this message and tells you about what they've done in their career. So you do lose that player. He's wanted, Van Dijk. He's 34. Will he move on? Yes, you see, there you go. Look, you can either give him a player, a manager, player manager, assistant manager. I'm going to put him as assistant manager to Coutinho at Enfield, and there you go. Now Enfield has now got a new manager, Philippe Coutinho. And see, this is what I like about this. You've got to catch them just before. But they're only classed as part-time. That's not good. They want to be full-timers. And if you can actually improve them to make him even better manager, because he's actually a coach, like, he'd be better off as a coach. Whereas Van Dijk is not actually tenured. What's that? Has no work permit. Oh, that's not right. Tired from travelling. So yeah, if this is just what I discovered. I didn't actually realise this. I've been messing around with players and stuff like that and trying to do all these different experiments. And this is what I found out. You probably guys already know this, but I didn't. So there you go. Little tip. And it might hopefully work in 2026, FM26, because we're not going to get 25, are we? Right, so now we're going to move on now and see how Spain gets on. So here we are again with Spain. Spain United is now going to have a go at attempting to win the Premier League. Brazil's failed. Argentina's failed. Let's see how they get on. As you can see, we have all the Spanish players in Spain United. Again, using the same team, which was Nottingham Forest. Everything's all the same, and hopefully see how they get on in the first two seasons, and then we can move on and boost them up like we did with the other two teams. We have the manager, who actually was the Spanish manager, as you can see, and the assistant manager, who was also there at this time. We will now see how Spain get on. So Spain United have come 8th in the Premier League. They too cannot achieve the heights of the winning the Premier League. They lost 9 games, none against Liverpool or Man City, but they did twice against Aston Villa, who have done very well this season. And they drew 7, obviously they won 22. Goals, they didn't get many goals, and they conceded quite a few, but a little bit better than some teams. 38, that's pretty good going, so the defence ain't too bad. Let's see what they did in the transfer market. So this is all the players that I put in. David Raya, Thiago, Nacho and Coco. And they have Zubamendi and Pedri and Foreign Torres. And they got rid of a few. Asensio, I do apologise for getting these names wrong. Marcus Asensio, obviously to Man City for 74 million. Zubamendi they sent out on loan. And Nacho, he actually was sold to Fulham. And they've listed Thiago. They don't want Thiago anymore. This player was transfer listed at the club, needed to free up registration slots. Okay, but a lot of our players are wanted. I'm going to wonder if we're going to have a team at the end of next year or next season. Do we still have the manager? We do still have the manager. So we've lost our assistant managers, so Brian Kidd's taken over. And I think, if I remember rightly, Argentina, Brian Kidd came in, and yet we kept the other assistant manager as well. Right, we'll have a quick look, see how they did in the FA Cup. Well, they obviously didn't win it, because you can see there that it was Newcastle that won. So how far did Spain United go? Not the final, not the semi-final, not even quarter-final. Oh dear. 5th round? Not even. Wow, they did a lot worse than Argentina and Brazil. 4th round. Can you see them? What happened here then? They get knocked out straight away or something? 3rd round? Oh, there we go. Sheffield Wednesday knocked them out. Okay, now. That's not good, is it? That's not good at all. Yeah, that's a lot worse. That's bad. Okay, we'll move on another season and see how well they do. And then in the 3rd season, we'll give them that boost. We are getting closer to England, don't worry. Next, we're going to do France, but then we're going to do England last. And I'm not being funny, but if Spain can't do any good, I don't think the England team's going to do very good. So on to 2025. We're back for Spain's 2nd season. We'll see how they got on. They came 9th. Okay, not great, is it? It's not very good considering Bournemouth and Tottenham and even probably Newcastle. This is, like I say, these are world-class teams. And Spain didn't do very good. It's very, very... Oh, Aston Villa's dropped right down, look. They came 3rd last time. But Spain, no. Did they actually get rid of players? So we'll find out in a minute if they got rid of any players or brought any players in. I don't think they would, because I don't think the money's very good. Obviously, the money's not been very good, as you've seen with Argentina and Brazil. But losses-wise, they've lost 10. They lost to Man City twice. They lost to Liverpool, Tottenham, but they didn't lose to Man United. But they drew against Man United. So they actually did beat Man United then. They beat Chelsea. And they beat Brighton twice. Goals-wise, 51 goals. That's not good either. Let's have a quick look at the transfer. So nothing there. Right, have they got rid of a few people? Yeah, they got rid of Pau Torres to PSG for 56 million. Brought no one. Zubimendi, I don't know if he came back off loan. Okay, I'm guessing it's the finances that's stopping these players from staying, because obviously they've not got their money to pay these guys wages. So I'm guessing that's why they're offloading certain players and we're bringing no one in. But it's still got quite a lot. Still a lot of our Spanish people are still there. Thiago, what the hell? He's been made available for the under-21s. Is that possible? Okay, and a lot of our players are needed, or wanted, should we say. A lot of them's loans. Man United want Ansu Fati, and Bayern Munich want Pedri, and Rodri is wanted by these two guys, or these two teams. Right, okay, let's boost now. We need to have a look to see who's been scoring the goals. Oh, yeah, so Didier Deschamps, he's took over as our new manager. Well, that's interesting, because when we do France next, that's the manager. Okay, so we've not got a bad team. Is that Simon? Unai Simon. That's our goalkeeper. Conceded 51 goals. But the season before, God, he's actually conceded. He's bad. That's bad, isn't it? And then again, he's got clean sheets. He's got 11 clean sheets first time round and 5 second. Still not good. Not good at all. And Fati has been scoring not many goals. Then we got winger again. Now we got winger. So Torres, no, they've not really been scoring either. Baldi, is that? Or Baldi? No, there's not been very many goals. Pedri, what about him? Goals? A few more goals and assists coming from him. And he's wanted by Bayern Munich. We'll see how they got on in the FA Cup. Well, Liverpool won it last season. Well, won it just the season just gone. Beating Chelsea 2-1. So obviously they weren't in the final. Semi-final. No. Quarter-final. No. Fifth round. I can't see him anywhere in the fifth round. Fourth round. Oh dear. Third round. What? This is not good at all. I can't even see him anywhere. Maybe you guys can spot him, but I can't. I don't think they made the third round. Second round? No. They wouldn't mean second round, would they? It's the third round when all the Premier teams get in there. Nope. There they are, look. Down there, they actually beat Scunthorpe 3-0. So they did actually get into the fourth round. So when they got into the fourth round, did they go through or did they get knocked out? Oh, okay, so I must be missing something here. And they actually did go through, beating Fulham. So they got through to the fifth round then. And they got, okay, so quarterfinals, they get through. Right, they got beaten by Brentford. So they did actually do a lot better this time around, didn't they? They got to the quarterfinals, got beaten by Brentford. Okay, so let's give Spain a bit of a boost and see if they do any good. Right, so we have a boost. Reputation, training facilities, youth facilities, and the youth recruitment's all been boosted up. Finances, 500 million. And obviously, yes. Yep. So the balance is 500 million. Let's see how they get on. The spending is a little bit less. I've just noticed this. The spending a little bit. Maybe if you went, I don't know if I showed you first time around, because I got rid of a few players, but the spending's quite a bit, isn't it? But not as much as what it was for Brazil, because I think Brazil was up to 4 million a week. This is 3 million a week. Okay, now they got the boost. We'll move it on to the season and see how well they did. And then we'll move on to France. Right then, so let's see how Spain United got on in the last and final season. Before we move on to France, they came 6th, so still not as good as Argentina or Brazil, because them two came 4th. So yeah, they lost 11, drew 8, won 19. Not very good. I say not very good. 6 ain't bad, is it? Really, considering that this used to be Nottingham Forest. But they've got all the Spanish players and the world class. Well, have they? Let's see. So not really. They spent a bit of money. I guess that's probably on the wages. I'm guessing. Yeah, 3 billion. Yeah, 3 million per week. That's what's doing that. Still got quite a lot of players, and a lot of them are actually internationals. Let's actually have a look at that. So this is Spain, and okay, so they've got one from Villarreal. One from Real Madrid. 2 from Real Madrid. Is it? No, one, yeah, 2 from Real Madrid, 1 from PSG. So actually, yeah, for another one, there's obviously Pau Torres went over to PSG. So yeah, when we actually had a whole team, the Spanish team that I picked, and now obviously they managed to pick others from other players. I didn't actually look at the Argentinian team to see if actually this would happen. But the players that have gone, apart from him, actually no, there's a lot of players here that are worth a lot of money that are still actually with Spain United. So there's still a lot of money there that they could earn. Okay. And they're actually first in the world group. They drew 1 against France and they won both against Guinea and Iran. 4-0. Look. See, look, France won 6-0. Spain won 7-1. France won 4. And those 2 drew. So it's going to be interesting when we do the France one as well. Didier Deschamps is still actually manager. And that's the team that was playing, which is pretty much the same as what we've had. Zubimendi's actually gone in there now. And we'll see how well they did in the FA Cup. Now, I went through this FA Cup. Obviously, Liverpool won it again. God, I don't know. So I went through this last time and I couldn't find them, even though they were there right in front of me. So final. Got beat. Brighton. Liverpool beat Brighton in the final. Brighton. Okay. I do apologise to any Brighton fans, but you did very well this year. Then again, your team's doing very well at the moment. Beat Crystal Palace. Now, normally Crystal Palace is a bogey team for Liverpool. Quarterfinals. Still, oh, yes. So Liverpool actually knocked Spain out. That's in extra time. So there you have it. Spain did a little bit better because they didn't drop down like Argentina did. They kind of stuck around 6th, 7th, 8th. I think they did. Brazil kind of managed to stay around the area as well. But Brazil and Argentina did get 4th place. I suppose, I say, could I look at the... let's have a look at the Europa League. That's another thing I've not done. The thing is, I start thinking about these things as I do them. And so the Europa League, we'll have a quick look at that. The one thing I did miss out with Argentina and Brazil, I didn't look how they got on in Europe. So we'll do this with Spain. And as you can see, Spain actually came 4th in the Europa League. That was last year. The year before, I don't think they qualified. But we'll have a look, see where they did qualify. It might have been Champions League or it might have been the league lower. But looking at this league, we'll see how far they got. So they got to the round of 16 and they beat Nice. Okay, so they got to the 16, so they got the quarterfinals where they got beaten by Chelsea. And as you can see, Chelsea went on to win it. So they just managed to squeeze into the Europa League. That would have been this season that's just gone. So if I go again, then they'll be in the Europa League again. So the season before that, their first season, they actually qualified for the UEFA Conference. So we'll see how we got on in that. So yes, they got into the Conference League, the Europa Conference League, which is the 3rd European league. And they came 2nd, so they didn't do too bad. They only lost 1, and that was against them. So yes, they only lost the 1 game. And they went into the round of 16, where they beat Genk. And then they got into the quarterfinals, where they beat Getafe. Semi-finals, Montpellier. So they actually got into the final and they actually won it. Okay, so they did actually win it. So why? Oh, that's obviously not going to tell you because that's the holders now. But they actually won that. So they did actually win a trophy. Right, so the next season that I'm going to be doing now is we're going to have France in the Premier League, see how they get on. But I don't think they're going to do very well because if Spain can't, Brazil can't, and Argentina can't, I can't see France, especially from the team of 2023. But then again, that might have been the World Cup winning team. Let's just have a quick look. So at the moment, it's Argentina that's the holders. So looking at this, 2018, now 2022, 26, the last ones that won it was Argentina. They didn't do very good. I say they didn't do good, they came 4th. Brazil, last time they won it, was 2002, and they've not even got into the 3rd place. Whereas Argentina got in there, and France is in there. See, England, like I say, down at 66, that's when the last time, and Spain, they won it 2010. So it'd be interesting to see just how well France and England actually do. I don't think they'll do as well as Argentina, or Brazil, or Spain. But that's my opinion. Maybe you think differently when you see the teams. And now it's France's turn. See how they got in the Premier League. There you go. There's the French squad. That is what's going to be challenging the Premier League. They've all got their contracts boosted up. We have Didier Deschamps as their manager and Guy Stevens as their assistant manager. So we shall see how well they do. Their reputation's not been boosted, all their training faculties. It's the same as everyone else. Maybe after 2 seasons we'll boost them up just to see what happens. We've got no captain at the moment and no vice captain. But we shall see how we do. Will they do better than Brazil, Argentina or Spain? Okay, so after one season, we'll have a check out, see how France got on. Did they do any better? Let's find out. They did. Wow, look at that. They came second. Now that is pretty damn good going. So far France is the best. Who did they lose to? They lost to Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. And then they drew against Liverpool, Brighton, Fulham, Man United and Newcastle. So wow, that ain't bad. That is the best we've had so far. Second. They scored 72 goals. Conceded 40 though. That's pretty bad. That is pretty bad. 5 against Liverpool, 3 against Everton, 3. So they've had quite a few goals past them. They made up with it when they scored. So they scored 72. The next one down was 69 and 62. Obviously not beating Man City, who did 79 and only conceded 28 goals. So that's not bad. Not bad at all. Right, before we move on another season, let's just check out a few little things. So transfers. So Boubacar Kamara, he went to PSG for 14.5 million. I think that's this year. So a lot of them went out on loan. I don't think those 3 or 4 are French players. It's just... No, I don't think Jonathan Claus is. Oh, he is. Okay. So he was actually sold, and these 2 went out on loan. And we kept hold of these lot. Managed to keep hold of Mbappe still. Still got them all there. A lot of players are wanted. Why is Mbappe not wanted? I don't understand. And they've listed Oliver Giroud. That's pretty incredible. Does not believe they have a long-term future. Then again, he's 37. The team that they played was pretty good. Conte in defensive midfield. Pavard was there. Dembele and Mbappe. Randall Kolo Muani. I've not actually heard of him. Where's he from? He's originally from PSG. And we took him away for free, look. 77 million. 25-year-old. And we still have Didier Deschamps is in there, look, and Guy Stevens. So we'll have a quick look at the cup. I'm only doing the one cup. I'm only doing the FA. This spoils it a little bit because you can't really have a surprise, can you? Because it tells you up there that Man United won it. But actually, how far did France go? Not in the final. Not in the semi-finals. Not even in the quarters. And they got knocked out by Sheffield Wednesday. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Well, you got a world-class team that gets beaten out by someone like Sheffield Wednesday, who's literally a team that's kind of from the Championship. Or probably a bit lower. Yeah, League One, look, here they are. That's bad. But then again, they might have just gone for the league. Okay, then, we'll move it on another season and see how they did. So, there is no surprises, as you can see, that Man City has won it again. But we'll see where France got to this time. Not as good this time. They came 5th. Were their goal difference any better? No, I don't think so. They let quite a lot of goals in, especially 6 by Newcastle and 4 by Aston Villa, Liverpool and Southampton. And yet they scored 7 against Brighton, 6 against Fulham and 6 against Everton. Right, so they didn't do very well that time round. I'm guessing that they probably got rid of a few more players. Let's have a see. Yeah, we're looking a bit thin. Not so many players now. And Mbappe seems to have disappeared. Still got Dembele in there. And Conte and Pavard, but they've got rid of the big man. Oh, Anton Griezmann's there still. Kingsley Coman. Okay, so they've still got quite a few. There you go. Kylian Mbappe to Man City for 108 million. Did that really make a difference? So yeah, look, missing here, look. This is where he is, and this is where he should have been. So the goals, the first time round, the goals weren't really coming from Dembele, but they were coming from Christopher Kanunku. That's what I'm going with. He scored quite a lot of goals. Plenty of, well, I say plenty of assists. We could have had a few more assists there, but the goals are right up there. Brilliant. And Kolo Muani, he scored not as many, which is a bit of a shame. Bit of a shame, that is. And assists, hardly any assists going on there, is there? So I'm guessing, yeah, we got quite a lot of assists and quite a lot of goals from Mbappe. So I'm guessing that's where they lost a lot of them from. And now he's at Man City for 108 million. And he actually went to PSG for 159 million. It's not his best season. You can see he scored quite a lot of goals there. There was a bit of a bad season. But yeah, Mbappe has now left the French squad. FA Cup, Liverpool beat Arsenal. And they got knocked out by Liverpool in the semi-finals. So they actually did worse in the league, but they did better in the FA Cup. Okay, that's pretty interesting. How did they get on in Europe? Obviously, we can see that Man City beat Liverpool. See, FC Bayern Munich, Paris Saint-Germain, both got knocked out by the 2 English teams. Right, okay. So here we go then. France United, they struggled a bit. So they've had to go into the playoffs rather than actually qualify. They got beaten twice by Man City and Lazio. They got beaten quite well and all. They drew against Barcelona, and they beat Borussia Dortmund, Salzburg, Benfica and Qarabag. So they actually went into the knockout league phase where they actually beat Young Boys. So they beat them obviously 2 rounds, so it was 5-2 in the end. Got to the round 16 where they got knocked out by PSG. Oh my God. So they got actually knocked out by the French champions. France United got knocked out by the French champions. Okay, it's fair enough then, isn't it? Right, we should move on one season. Obviously, we'll update all the stats and everything, make sure they're a little bit bigger, give them a bit more money, and we'll see how they get on. But so far, France have been the best team so far. So for the 3rd season, France has now been upgraded. Reputation, training facilities, youth facilities, and the youth recruitment. Finances, we give them a good dose of money. Players are pretty much there. They've got quite a good players there, so I wonder if they'll actually buy some other players in during this, because obviously it's only 1st of July, so they've now got the transfer market. So we'll see how they get on. France so far have been the best team that we've come across. They've beaten Brazil, Argentina and Spain because they come 2nd in the Premier League. Let's see what they can do now. Okay, and we're back now for the 3rd and final season for France United. We'll see how they got on in their final season. Okay, so they came 5th, which is not as good as what they did from the start, is it, when they came 2nd? This is pretty interesting because there's no consistency in these teams. They all seem to be all over the place. I'm guessing if this France team or a Brazil or Argentina team was actually at Man City or Liverpool, then it might be a different story from choosing a weaker team. Not saying that Nottingham Forest is too weak, but they ain't got the power, the money power of Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool and Man United. We got 4 losses against Man City, against Arsenal, Liverpool and Chelsea. 12 draws. Wow. They didn't do too bad when it come to conceding. Didn't do very well against Leicester or Chelsea or Arsenal. When it comes to scoring, they scored quite a few against Norwich, which I'm guessing was the lower teams apart from Aston Villa. Man United they got to score 4 against. So how is the team shaping up? So this, I think half the money, yeah, look at that. That's ridiculous. I think that's probably one of the lowest, I think. 3.9 million. So that ain't too bad. It's nearly in their wage budget. It's only a little bit over. And this is the team that were played. Coman, Dembele, Kanuku. Do apologise if I'm saying the name wrong. Pavard's still in there. Saliba and Mouani's still up there. Obviously, thing is gone, isn't he? Mbappe. So how many goals have we got last season? We got 13 goals. Dembele, 10 goals. So yeah, there's a big drop. And then again, look, that ain't bad. Look at that. 31 games to 37, and yet you scored 10 and 7 assists. But you still got the same amount of... So if he'd actually gone up, like I said, 37, he actually played a lot better. So actually he was improving. Well, he dropped and then improved again. Coman, again, he started to improve as well. Did they all start to improve then? That was the goalkeeper. A little bit, not great. He had 13 clean sheets this time. But now, how the fucking hell do you work that out? So in his first season, he had 34 games, conceded 31 goals, and had 8 clean sheets. 33, conceded 30, and 13. So there must have been some games where they got thrashed then, or really beat. No, don't quite understand that. So what do they do in the transfer market? I see they got rid of a few people, but they didn't get rid of the big players. Because obviously a lot of them have gone out on loan, haven't they? They brought a player in. They brought this guy in, this young lad, 7.1 or 7.11. But he'll be playing in the next season, attacking midfielder. So let's see how they got on in the cups, because they're actually in the Champions League. Obviously, we know by this spoiler up here that, you know, they didn't win it. So we're going to go straight to the final. So Real Madrid and Man City. The final, Man City winning 3-1. Semi-final, no, not in the semi-final. Quarter-final, yes, they got knocked out to Juventus. How did they actually do in the league? The league phase, they qualified, so they came 7th. And they lost once to PSV, drew against Bayern and Man City. Wow, actually drew against Man City. And there's the wins. So there you go. That's the final season for France. Now it's time to see how the English got on. So here we are with the same setup. Yes, every team when we first start has actually got the -4. Here they are, England United. So how well can England United do? Can they do any better? As you can see, these are all the players that I brought, or shall I say sent over. So Jordan Henderson, Kyle Walker, Harry Kane, Harry Maguire, Ryan Sterling, Jordan Pickford. Now this obviously is 2023. The English team is completely different now. There's a few in there that are still there, but it's been changed around. So once 2025 comes out, or I'm guessing it'll be 26, we'll be able to do it again and see. We have the manager, Gareth Southgate, Steve Holland, assistant manager. Their reputation is all the same as last time. No difference. After 2 seasons, we'll boost up and see how they get on, see who they buy, and see if they can make a difference. But for now, this is it. So let's do it. Let's do 1 season. Right then, guys. Let's see how England United got on. So we obviously know by this that Liverpool won it, but where did England United actually come? Wow. Wow, yes. They actually come second. That's pretty good going, isn't it? And look at the goals. Look at the goals. 81. And they only lost 3 games. They actually lost more. They lost less than everyone else. That is the best. And they drew. So if those little draws there, how did that work? How did that work? So they drew 4, lost 6, drew 7, and lost 3. Am I missing something there? So they lost 3 more. We drew 3 more. So how does the... England would have actually won it if it weren't for them 4 points. No way. Yeah. They would have won the league. I didn't actually look to see any of the other teams would have done any better with that. I completely forgot. So yeah, England would have actually won the league if they didn't lose them points. 4 points would have got them 91. They would have done it. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. England would have actually won the Premier League. Just them 4 points let them down. Gareth Southgate and Brian Kidd still in charge. Finances is really bad. Not very good at all. Like I say, this is still the same, isn't it? And their current spending, obviously we've boosted it up, which made it a little bit easier. But they're on, I think they're roughly about 3-4 million each of the teams that we've had. They've only got rid of Marcus Rashford and 74 million to Tottenham. Oh, wait, that's this season. What did they do last season? Right, so they got rid of Raheem Sterling for 73 million. Did he go back? He did. So it was actually Liverpool, went to Man City, went to Chelsea, and then went back to the 73 million. Man City got a lot of money or something. So, okay, so we've lost a few of them. Kieran Trippier, Marcus Rashford. Sorry, Kieran Trippier, Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling. So there's 4 big players there. But Marcus Rashford, Rashford. Marcus Rashford went on loan and they've sold him. But everyone else has stayed. So who actually scored the goals? So Kane was up front, 18 goals, 11 assists. Look at that. 7.39. I know I probably didn't do this with the other teams as quite in depth. I think as I've been playing it and carrying on, I've decided to try and show you more. So I do apologise. And Bellingham, 8 goals, 7 assists, 6 man of the match, 7.42. Saka, 12. So they're getting some goals in, aren't they? What about Foden? Look at that, he's been banging them in as well. That's pretty good going. Conceded 37, 13 clean sheets. Oh, I don't think that's bad at all. So they're now qualified for the Champions League, so we'll see how they get on. But I think I'm going to have to look back and actually see if, because I think it was France came second, didn't they? But did they come second with enough points to come first? Right, okay, we'll carry on another season then. See how they do now they've got no drop points. Normally we've had a bit of a drop, haven't we, in each of these. So we'll see how these boys get on. Now, before I move on and show you how well we did in the league, obviously you can see by this stupid spoiler up here that Man City won the league. And we do actually know that England dropped points, so they would have won it last time. But unfortunately, that drop of points stopped them from doing it. Let's see how they got on. They came third. Not bad. This is, honestly, I cannot understand how well we're doing. Why is it that England are doing so well and the other teams didn't? Is it because that all the England players are actually play in the Premier League, and it's a league that's a little bit more... You've got to get used to it, ain't you? That's the thing. But we might actually send these teams over to La Liga or the French League and see how they get on over there. But I think that's probably what it is. England's actually the players, these guys... They're all used to playing in the Premier League. We're actually losing quite a few now, aren't we? Jordan Henderson's been listed. Kyle Walker's wanted. So what's actually happened then? Okay, so Marcus Rashford has been sold to Tottenham for 74 million. This guy here, he ain't English. No, he's Swiss. Where the hell did he come from? What? Oh, he must have been in the reserve team, was he? I don't know. And Saka's gone. 174 million. Fucking hell, look at that. That's a lot of money. So they've actually made quite a bit of money just by these 253 million. What about last time? Did we actually buy it? Well, there you go. Look, that's where that's where we put the players in. So there's 73 million there for Ryan to Man City again. Man City, they were just saying, where's all this money coming from Man City? Don't know. So what did they actually do then? So they lost 8. Lost to Aston Villa, Liverpool, Tottenham, Man United. They didn't actually lose to Man City. They drew twice against Man City. Drew against Chelsea. Right, and then obviously we had 23 wins. They're against 43 goals. That's look at that. Look at that. Look. 33, 35, 36, 34, 50 down there, and they got 43. That's probably where they went wrong. Because their goals, 75, that's about right, isn't it, for third place? 76, 81, look. So that's probably what's happened there. So let's see. They did get in the Champions League last season, didn't they? Yes, they did. They got in the Champions League, so we'll see how they got on with that. But before I do, just a quick look at the team. So White, Stones. Is that Gahir? Gahir? I think that is. I might be saying that wrong. Do apologise if I do. Chilwell's a midfielder, isn't he? Oh, I'm sure Chilwell's a midfielder, defender. Okay. Oh, left wing back. All right, okay. I do apologise. And then Phillips and Rice, Bellingham, Foden and Kane up front. Has he been banging him in? He's on par, really. Obviously, he dropped a little bit in the average rating. But he played less and scored. You know, so probably another 2 games, he would have probably beat that. Foden, God, look at that. He played even better this time around. Foden did. 15-15, 5 player of the matches. That's pretty good, that is. And Bellingham. See, Bellingham hardly got any assists. But he got 9 man. How? You'd have thought Foden would have got quite a few more man of the matches, considering his assists and his goals. But 16 goals for Bellingham. Right, now we'll have a look at the Champions League, see how they got on. I'm not going to tell you if they won or not, but then again, I don't need to, do I? That's something about that. So Barcelona, if I got this right, they won at the Santiago Bernabeu. Is that Real Madrid's? It is, it's Real Madrid's. So that made it easier for them, didn't it? Because they used to kind of playing on that. But anyway, we're looking at how England did. They came 5th. They came 5th, played 8, won 6, drew 1, and lost 2. Now, obviously, we know that's different to what it actually is. But they lost to them anyway. And we've got, they scored 15 goals, and they conceded 8. Not bad at all, I don't think. Let's see how far they got. Obviously, they didn't win the final. That's the only problem I have is this. It gives it away. You kind of want a surprise when you're doing this. Maybe I could cut that off. I don't know. We'll see. So the round 16. They got knocked out by Bayern. That's not Bayern Munich. That's Bayern Leverkusen. Yeah, they got knocked out straight away. That's not good, is it? Considering they did so well in the Premier League. Right then, it's time to give this team a boost and see how we get on. Do we still have Gareth Southgate? And yes, we do. He's there. There you go. Different assistant manager. But we're going to give him a boost and give him a bit of money, and we'll see how they get on. Right, give it a boost. Finances ain't changed, but I did actually put in 500,000. If you don't believe me, I'll show you. 500,000, look. So they've got plenty of money to spend. Let's see how they get on. What I'm actually going to do, if you're interested, I'm going to carry on with this. After this, I'm going to choose my elite. And I'm going to see, out the 5 teams, I'm going to pick. Now, I might pick more Argentinian players. I might pick more English players. I don't know. I'm going to have a look. And then I shall decide. And I'll see if I can win the Premier League with the players that I pick from the 5 teams that we've had. So if you're interested in seeing that, keep watching after this one and you'll see for yourself. We'll do this. I'm not going to actually, the team I'm going to do, I'm going to actually give it a boost straight off. No, that ain't fair, is it? No, we'll start off with Forest. I'm going to use Forest with the team that I think is the best players. I might be wrong here. I might cause a bit of problem. I do apologise. But yeah, we'll do that after this one. So let's do the 3rd season for England and see how they get on. So we are back for the 3rd and final season of England United. Obviously, we've discovered who won up there. 3rd. So actually, England have actually done the best. So maybe, just maybe, it probably won't be a bad idea to have England as the base and just put a few players because they've done really, really well. I think I might do that. We'll see. We'll see for the elite team that I'm going to try. Yeah, obviously there'll be no Germans or Portuguese players or any Dutch players in the team because I'm just going to pick from the 5: Argentina, Brazil, Spain, France and England. So they lost 6 games. They lost to Man City twice. That's the team that we're going to have to beat. Man City and Liverpool. They lost 4-0 and they lost 2-1. Man United again, they lost 2. They drew 9. That's not good. Drawing 9. Did they do a double with anyone? Yes, Liverpool. Twice they drew with Liverpool. So they actually got beat by Leicester and drew Leicester. So they couldn't actually beat Leicester. Anyone else? Hull. And obviously they won 23 games. They're against 6 against Man United, 4 against Liverpool. Well, hold on a minute. What? Okay, so they got 6 goals. So Man City scored 6 against them. Leicester scored 3. Man United scored 3. Aston Villa scored 3. That was it though. Arsenal and Tottenham. Oh no, Tottenham's in there with 2 goals. So they didn't do too bad. Did they get on? Let's actually, before we go to the Champions League, we'll have a look at their teams who they brought in. So they've still got plenty of money left. Spending is a little over than what it should be. So they actually replaced, they put Grealish on the wing. Henderson's now in. Defence looks the same. So I don't think they've actually brought any players in. They brought 3. Okay, so who actually went then? So no top England player went. Doesn't seem like it. It seems like they're all kind of, I guess the young ones, are they? This Costa Rican player here, 23 years of age. Zach Abbott, 20-year-old. Yeah, I think it's some of the youths, I think. Nick Pope. Right, okay, so an old goalkeeper. And they brought these guys in. So that's it. So this is actually for next season. So this will be for next season that they've actually brought them in. So Kane, how well did Kane actually do? Oh, absolutely terrible. He only played 11. I guess he had injuries. That's not good. That's probably what didn't help. Grealish didn't play too bad. Bellingham, 25 goals. 13 man of the matches there, look. Foden, didn't do as good as what he did the last 2 seasons, did he? Okay, we'll see. Go and see how well they did in the Champions League. They won it. They actually won the Champions League. Look up there, look. It says England. They actually won. So the league phase, they qualified 8th. So it was 8th. They lost 1 to Man City fucking again. And then Bayern Munich and Real San Sebastian, who is not the real name for the team. So I do apologise for that. And they beat them guys. That's, okay. That Parthenope, I think that's quite a good team. Don't get me wrong, the others are. But I think, yeah, they're the top ones in that respect. So on the way to the final, they beat Nice 4-2 in the end. The quarterfinals, they beat Villarreal. That was 2-1 over 2 legs. So they must have lost the first one then, because that's their goals for the first, that's the goals there for this leg. So it must have actually been, they actually lost the first leg. And then semi-finals, they knocked out Liverpool. Now, obviously it was a draw, the first match. And obviously they're away. They won it away. Wow. And then they beat Barcelona 1-1 on penalties. 1 on penalties. So that was close. But yeah, we've actually got ourselves a winner. The last one. And we actually got a winner. Let's see how the elite get on now. Let's see my chosen elite. And I think, to be honest with you, I'm going to be keeping with quite a few England players. Considering that I used England as the base, I pretty much picked 3 to 2 players from each of the teams. So I picked 3 players from Argentina, 3 players from Brazil, 3 players from France, and 2 from Spain. So now it's up to the manager. I think I'm going to stick. No, actually, I think I'm going to stick with Gareth Southgate, I think. And obviously keep Steve Holland in. And we'll see how we get on now they have a few more players to choose from. I've got a funny feeling they're going to end up getting rid of people because finances ain't all that great. And not only that, we are actually working. Look at the spending. Yeah, they're definitely going to end up getting rid of players, but what can they do in the first season? That's the big thing. So we'll actually see. I don't think they're going to be able to keep any players in. So what I might have to do, yeah, look. Oh no, 27-27. Oh no, that can stay for a couple of seasons, so we're all right there. So the players are going to be there for a while. Let's see who the manager picks and how well they do. So we shall move on for a season and see how the elite get on. So it seems that I have picked a decent team, or shall I say, I've placed certain and decent players into it. Because as you can see, we won. We did it. We actually won. There you go. They absolutely won. And they was off by 4 points. That's pretty good going. Defence is a bit bad, but look at the goals we got. That's brilliant. 86, 1 point in it. Oh, look at that. That's very close. 85, 85. So who do we lose to? So we lost to Chelsea, Brentford, Liverpool and Newcastle. But they were close games apart from the Brentford one. And we drew against Arsenal twice, but we beat Man City twice as well. We did 3-1. And obviously it's not going to show you anymore. But that ain't bad going. Let's see who our manager actually played. So it was only really the defence. Oh no, okay. So we did actually have 3 English players up front. So we had 2 Brazilians, 2 Spanish, and we had 1 Argentinian player. So, oh, no, tell a lie. We had Edison as well, who's Brazilian. Yes, he is Brazilian, yes. So that ain't bad going, if you don't mind me saying so, in this. So we've just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 changes. That's pretty much the whole team, really, isn't it, almost? But yeah, I'm proud of that. After finally, we have won the league. That is pretty good going, especially when they were -4 points as well. So they had to gain. So they would have got 90 points. I'm pretty proud of that. And we have Gareth Southgate, Brian Kidd's now the assistant manager. Now, I do rate Brian Kidd. He's a really, really good manager. Now, if I remember rightly, Brian Kidd's an absolute fantastic behind the kind of scenes sort of guy. He's worked at Man United and stuff like that. He's really, really is good. And everyone gives Alex Ferguson... People may say I'm wrong when I say this, but I believe this. Brian Kidd, as you can see there, Brian Kidd there, look. He was under-18s coach. And I do believe it was about the time when we had Giggs and Beckham and Scholes coming through. And then obviously he was the assistant manager. Now he is a bit like Peter Taylor for Brian Clough. He kind of helped. He was the man behind the scenes. I don't think it was just all Alex Ferguson. You might shoot me down for that, for saying that I'm talking bollocks. But I believe that this guy was part of the success. And I don't think he gets the credit that he should. And he's certainly helped Gareth Southgate out. So yeah, that's one bloke who should be highly recognised as being one of the best, is Brian Kidd. So who did we actually get rid of then? So we got rid of quite a few. What do we make? 186 million. As you can see, I put them all in, look. So we did actually have quite a few players. So we've got rid of Calvin Phillips, gone to Real Madrid. Only on loan though, so he might come back. Jordan Henderson, Kieran Trippier. Benjamin White's gone to Liverpool for 10 million. And Raheem Sterling, Man City, 73 million. So we have actually got rid of quite a few players. Anthony Gordon and Gerard Bowen went for 9.25 million. Yeah, so we've actually got rid of quite a few players. Does that actually make a difference with the finances? A little bit. We're going to move on now because it's a new season that's going to actually, these guys are actually going to be the Champions League. I don't know if they're going to do any good. That's the thing we're going to find out, but we know England actually won it. So we shall move on, see how well they do, and then obviously the third season, we'll be upgrading all that. So we're here again for the second season. Now this is going to be very interesting because if you look up there, we did it again. We actually won the league again. This time we blew the league away. Wow. Now this is going to be crazy because I'm actually going to boost everything up, and yet they've been doing it without all that extra stuff. That's incredible. That really is incredible. Look at that, 102 points. And they've only had 28 goals. Oh, 4 by Arsenal, 4 by Man United, 3 by Chelsea. Okay, so were they losses? Because we only lost 2. Okay, 3-1 and 2-1. And we had draws 2-2 and Liverpool 2-2 1-1. And we won 33 games. That's pretty good going, if you don't mind me saying. So obviously, Man City, Liverpool and Man United all there again. But that's pretty impressive considering that I kind of put what? Well, I suppose I give them quite a few players though, didn't I? 64 million now, so they must have sold a few players. That wage budget, that's pretty high. That's 4 million. I don't know if that's the highest we've had, but that is high. So they can't, it's going to be a struggle, but now I'm going to give them 500,000 boost and boost all this up. This is going to be incredible. I don't see where they're going to go or how they, I think it's going to be mad. It's going to be mad because not only are they good now, that's going to make them even better, especially all the money that I give them. Right, we've lost one of our players. Who was it we lost? Okay, oh, Victor's Jr. That's who we've lost. But the defence, oh no, Salibas has been put in. So that's a French player. Marvinga. So we've got 2 French players in defence. Spanish and in English. Rodri's still there, Rice, Foden, Saka and Kane. Obviously we sold him then. So we didn't buy anyone in. And 131 million. So Victor, 96 million. Look at that. Potential costs including add-ons. But we got rid of a few kind of, I'm guessing, yeah, that's our biggest. Alex McAllister. Okay, got rid of him for 10 million. Luke Shaw, 19. Now, as you can see, it's the 1st of July. So with that money, the transfer market's opened up. They'll be doing a bit of business. Why would you get rid of one of your best players? Alex McAllister, he's one of the best players as well. So what did Victor's Jr. actually bring to the team? 11 goals, 4 assists. Okay, so he weren't the best they had. You know, we've seen better than this. 38 games, 11 goals. 33 games, 11 goals. And it's pretty much, yeah, so he dropped, even though that looks better. I suppose if he played more, whether he got an injury or not, I don't know. But yeah, he's not been the best, has he? As for Kane, Kane's kind of dry. Well, it says his average rating's been better, but obviously not banging in the goals. Foden's been scoring plenty, assisting plenty, but obviously his average is not as good as Kane's. Saka did brilliant. Look at that. Look at that season there, look. 14 goals, 15 assists, and 13 management. That's pretty good going. Yeah, he's dropped down a little bit. That's not good. Okay, so we'll move on and see how they did in the Champions League. Right, so as you can see, it's Man City that won the Champions League, so they didn't actually... let's see how well they did, but obviously we know they didn't win it. So we'll start off with the league phase. They come second, only losing to Liverpool. God, Liverpool, you little buggers, you. And they only had 4 against them, and they scored 16, so they didn't do too bad. They didn't do... Look at that. Man City only got a draw, and that was against Villarreal. PSG come 3rd. Liverpool right down there. Newcastle, Juventus, wow. And Barcelona. So how far did they get? So in the round of 16, we won. Quarterfinals, we won. Beat Nice in the quarterfinals. Man City beating Villarreal. Obviously got a bit of revenge back. PSG, Atletico, and Bayern Munich, Chelsea. Semi-finals, so we did actually get in the final. Look at that. 7-2. So the first leg must have been a hell of a match. Because there's the 2 goals. Did we 5-0? Was it 5-0? And in the final we got beaten 2-0. Not too bad, not too bad. Now they're going to get a boost. So we'll see how well they do, or you don't know. Giving them some money, they might end up buying the wrong players. I don't know. Oh, okay. So Brian Kidd's moved on. It's just Gareth Southgate on his own now. Where did Brian Kidd go to then? He must have retired. Brian Kidd must have retired then, because he was 75. So yeah, it's just Gareth Southgate on his own. So let's give this team a boost and see how we get on. So that's it, all done now. Reputation is up to 5. That'll be 100%, I think. Worldwide. Training facilities are boosted up. Youth facilities and youth recruitment. And they've now got... I have actually put it up to 500,000, but it's not showing there. But it is showing there. Before we move on, let's have a quick look to see how our elite got on in the FA Cup. Obviously, you can see that Liverpool won it. So we'll start with the final. And they beat Brentford 2-0. Semi-final, the elite got knocked out by Brentford. Who actually played in that game then? There you go, that wouldn't have helped, was it? Rodri got a red card. That wouldn't have done us any good. Kyle Walker, Martinez came on. Okay, so we have got a good team to move around. Harry Kane came off. Obviously, probably weren't playing. What's that? He was captain, playing very well. Yeah, didn't play very well. Foden didn't play very well. Rodri obviously got sent off. But we dominated the game. Shots 14, on target 7. What possession? Oh, they had more possession. They would have done, though, considering that Rodri was sent off in the 14th minute. That's not good. But we scored straight away. Okay, fair enough. So we managed to get to the semi-final. How well did we do in the quarters? We knocked out Man United. And then we knocked out... West Ham. Oh, no, that was gone by penalties. Oh, that was a close game. 4th round, Blackpool, 3-1. There you go, beating Blackpool. Okay, so now we shall move it on after we've just given it all the boost and given plenty of money and see how they get on in the last and final season of this video. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. I do want to try and get more to you, more experiments and trying different things out. It's just these little things that I keep thinking, I wonder. So I'm just trying them out, and hopefully when 2026 comes out, because we ain't going to get 2025, I'll be able to do more and just to see if all this changes. And I'm still concentrating on the 2-point county or 2-point studio games because I do actually love them, and I would like to bring more to you, but it's just getting the time. But I hope you enjoy this, so please like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. On to the 3rd season. Okay, so we're now back for our final season, and it looks like our boys didn't do the treble. Because Man City, as you can see, have won the league last season. Let's find out where we came. We dropped down to 3rd. Look at that. Look at the aggregate though. 32. That's pretty good. That's not too bad. Liverpool did just as good. So that's not too bad. We lost 8. 8 games. But we didn't get beaten twice by anyone. Not that I can see. We drew 5. We won 25. So yeah, we dropped right down, didn't we? Not too good this time. This is weird because Bellingham came in. Bellingham did not play. What happened last season then? So the defence is pretty the same. Our defensive midfield, Foden and Saka. Saka's obviously changed position. And we had Martinez up front, who only managed to score 9 goals. That's bad, especially after 27 games. So let's just see where the goals came from. So 15 goals, 3 assists, 5 player of the match. That's, for an attacking midfielder, I don't know. I think more assists could have been needed there. Saka, not too bad. 11 goals, 7 assists, and 8 player manager in the match. So he's quite a valuable player, Saka. He's done really well. Foden. Now, I do rate this player. I think this old boy is really, really good. But there, he did better than the first season, but not as good as the second. So what happened there then? How come we all boosted up a little bit there? So we still didn't bring anyone in. We didn't buy any players in. Got rid of a lot of players. Yeah, we only got this player for next season. That's what it seems to be. We've only seemed to put him play 67 million, but we didn't get rid of so many people this time. So yeah, not a very good, personally myself, I don't think it's a very good transfer window. We don't know what he's going to be like because we ain't going to get to see the 4th season, but spent quite a bit of money on him. Gareth Southgate's still there. And now we have Jesus Perez as our new assistant manager. There he is. So he was last at Chelsea, assistant manager, and PSG. So obviously some top teams there. Finances, still got plenty of money. That's whacked up quite a bit, isn't it? Wow, look at that, 5 million a week. And this is who we have. So we still have 2 Argentinian players. Still have 2 Brazilian. We have a German player come in, Roman Veer, and 2 Spanish players. Oh, and 3 French. So what happened to Harry Kane? Did we get rid of him? No, he's there. He must have been injured. How many games did you play? You played 33. So why come you're not on the main one then? Because you seem to have done not too bad. 16 goals. Could have been a bit better. And yet for some reason, you're in the starting lineup. Okay, fair enough. We'll see how they got in the Champions League. Right, I don't need to really go on to actually show you. We didn't win the league, but we won the big one. We won the Champions League. And let's see how well they actually did and who they knocked out. So in the league phase, they came 3rd. They drew 2 games against Barcelona and Bayern Munich. That's 2 amazing teams that seem to do really well in the Champions League. So getting 2 draws against them ain't bad at all. These guys lost and we won 6. The round of 16, we knocked out FC Porto 4-0, 3-0 the other game. The quarterfinals, we knocked out Arsenal beaten out. So they actually beat us then 1-0 in the first leg, and in the second leg we beat them 4-1. So we did actually lose against Arsenal. Man United got knocked out by Juventus, so we're the actual only English team to be in the semi-final. And we knocked out Juventus. We beat them 2-0 in the first leg, 4-0 in this leg, so we are doing amazing at the moment. And the final 2-0. So we actually won that. We won that properly. There was no penalty shootouts. Apart from losing against Arsenal, we didn't do too bad. We'll have a quick look at what happened in the FA Cup. Very surprise winner. We've got Everton. What was it? In the 80s? Late 80s? That they last won the FA Cup? So how did Elite get on? We'll start off with the final. Brentford got there again. Wow. Okay. Semi-final. No semi-final. Brentford beating Arsenal. Everton beating Tottenham. Quarter-final. No. Not even in the quarter-final. Fifth round. We're not even in the fifth round. Fourth round. Not even in the fourth round. So we got knocked out in the third round. We must have done. There they are. We got knocked out by Man City in the third round. 2-1. That's... You don't really want your team being knocked out in early rounds like that, because you've still got these lower teams that are still fighting, like the Championship, League 2 lot and League 1. Yet we was knocked out. Again, we were knocked out by Man City, so it does make a big difference when you're knocked out by a big team. But sometimes when you're knocked out by a big team, you want to see the big team go on and win, so you know that you got beaten by the winners. Okay, so that's it. The final season part of this video is over and done. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I shall see you again. Bye bye.